Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. It's Aly Kat here, your godmother's favourite.
Yes, so I noticed.
And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Marvel Tōkon Fighting Cells. Marvel Tōkon Fighting Cells is a brand new 4 vs 4 tag battle game, and it's produced by Sony Interactive and Arc System Works. If you're new here, my name's Aly Kat. I love talking about fighting games on this channel, so if you're into your gothic, cozy vibes, retro or modern titles, then I think this place is for you. And you're more than welcome to subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. It keeps me motivated to make more videos, just like this one. Alright, so let's get on with it. So the 24th of July through to the 26th was the official open beta time and date for PlayStation 5 users and also PC users. So previous to this, I think only PlayStation users were able to have access to the game via a closed beta. So this one being the open beta, you could argue that the open beta was a stress test, especially for the PC version, because it hadn't previously been available. Okay, so I don't have a PlayStation 5, so my first choice was to download it on Steam, which was about 15 gig. I'm not very excited. One of my main problems with it is that I couldn't load OBS and get it to do a screen record, so it was problematic. I ended up using the window capture feature, which means like you start recording it and you minimize the window, records everything, and that was the only way that I could get some kind of footage. So although they had announced about the stream kit for everyone who was going to be playing the game over that weekend, you couldn't even load up OBS and run Tōkon at the same time because it just refused to show it, just like a blank screen. That was a bit annoying. Okay, so when I first got in there was this really weird text-to-speech voice going on, and I've heard text-to-speech before, especially for accessibility, and I've heard a lot better ones.
Graphics quality, medium quality, change graphic monaural, revert to custom texture quality, post anti.
Okay, so when I first got in there, it was asking me to create a PlayStation Network account because I didn't have one, and it kind of didn't let me proceed without it. So I did see on Twitter and also a YouTube video that if you go to where the installation files are and delete a certain file, then basically you could run the game. I was a bit skeptical, but I did it and it seemed to work, so it let me in. So first of all, it was doing some initializing shaders and compiling shaders, I think it was doing. It was something like that. And we still hadn't got to play the game yet, but I did get to look at the initial main screen, and it was looking pretty good. This was probably, thinking about it, about half an hour it took me to get through to the screen, and I hadn't even started playing the game yet, so I wasn't impressed. So it did take me a while to get into the game after some numerous problems. So when we get into the actual game now, we get to the character select, and it looks beautiful. The way that they've done the actual artwork is like a combination of a Japanese style and an American style as well, so I really did like that. And I've got to talk about Storm for a second. Now, a lot of people, when they're doing this style of artwork, they do tend to get black skin, wrong. They sometimes get the shading wrong, the shades don't look right. The features look a bit exaggerated. I can't explain it, but it seems off. The Storm's actual model is so gorgeous. They absolutely knocked it out of the park. They've got everything right. Features, they've got the right amount of femininity. They've made a really good reference to the original Storm. So for my personal opinion, Storm is the best black female character in any fighting game. How she looks is absolutely stunning. They've got the proportions right, they've got the textures, everything, it just looks really good. And I've got to say, general artwork, everyone else, I'm really happy with how it looks. So they did say originally that it was just 15 characters for the open beta, but they added another character, Green Goblin. That's so cool. So that's 16 in total. So you had 6 playable stages, which was Nowhere, Marvel's New York, daytime, Marvel's New York nighttime, Savage Land, Wakanda, and X-Mansion. So I think for a demo, that was fantastic. So overall, the game looks beautiful. So if you've not seen Arc System Works before and what they do with their hand-drawn and their 3D rendering, it is absolutely stunning. So Guilty Gear Strife is a game that I own, had some experience with, and that game is like absolutely gorgeous, like mind-blowing. It might look similar in a way, but Tōkon runs a lot faster, and I would say like Strife is a bit more like slower pace, like the actual pace of like a match. It's I feel like it's a bit more like Samurai Showdown, but it's a bit more like slow down. So yeah, I was really impressed with how the game looks initially, like very impressive. But the thing is that because the PC version ran so terrible, it did take away a lot of the excitement, like pretty much instantaneously. So you got to bear in mind, I was trying to do a lot of like graphical changes and updates and everything, try and get something to work for the best part of like an hour before I even got into the game properly. So by the time I get in there now, as you can see, I'm going through the tutorial and it looks really blurry, it's just running terrible. Right, so that was day number 1 of like playing like Tōkon, and I thought, okay, so maybe they might make some changes. I know they did address this publicly, that they were having some problems, and I think they did do something, because on day number 2 now, like the Saturday, that was a lot better. So as you can see, I was able to get into training mode, and got some movement there, and I did post about this as well on my X account. It wasn't moving great, but it was moving a lot better. So we've kind of got this middle ground where like, is this good enough to go online? The other thing is, I was still having problems trying to record the footage of the game. I did use screen capture in the end because OBS was like blocked, but the footage that I'm going to get into later was actually done on my other computer, so I had to use my capture card and just like record the whole thing. But as you can see, it's running really slow compared to the like PlayStation 5 version, or I want to say like probably a more optimized like PC version. But because I do play like a lot of the other top fighting games, like I play like Tekken 8, Street Fighter 6, City of the Wolves, like I do play all of those titles and they do not have a problem running on my machine. In terms of like the combos and like how the game plays, I don't typically play like tag fighters. The last tag fighter game that I was playing was DBZ, Dragon Ball Fighters on the Switch, and I got into that quite late, I'll be honest, but that game is really good. So bearing in mind, with DBZ, it is Arc System, works on Bandai Namco, and that game runs amazing on the Switch. So it's a bit confusing that Tōkon ran so terrible. So, you know, I don't usually like to criticise things, but I like to call it out when you see it, because it's only fair, isn't it? So I do think if they probably ran an open beta before, or maybe they had just a closed PC beta on like a few occasions, they could have like tested this. We're talking an open beta like 2 weeks before the game's supposed to come out. I think it's absolutely atrocious because somebody was very sure of themselves that it was going to work. The main thing is that the Tōkon team have addressed all those issues, especially over the weekend, with doing various tweets about what they plan to do for updates and how they can make the experience better before release. So I think that's really good. They also did have a feedback form for asking people to fill it out, and I did. Told them exactly what I thought, in a nice way of course. Okay, so how does it play then? I want to say that my experience is quite tapered with that, because it runs so terrible on like the PC. But there were some moments when it did strangely speed up, and the game was like really fun. I really enjoyed it. So the online experience was a bit rough, and it was like quite like janky in places. It like stuttering. I did lose like a lot of frames. I had like rage quits, like everything. Like I can imagine that the people fighting me were having an awful time as well. But I'm glad that they acknowledged that and they want to look into it, like to fix it before the release date. If you've had experience from playing the previous like Marvel vs Capcom games, this game does not play like that. So don't get your hopes up too much. But if you want to get like a new experience with a tag fighter, by all means give this a try, because I think there's something there. The game looks beautiful, sound design is really good as well. It's got enough new features to make it like a new experience. And I think you would enjoy it. But it's not for everyone, because there's some people who have played the older games, like the Marvel vs Capcom games, and they don't like this one. I definitely don't mind Tōkon. I think it's very enjoyable, but it just means you just got to like reshift and readjust, get used to it. In terms of the controls, they made it quite intuitive in terms of, I want to say it's a combination between like Smite style or like a sort of more of a modern kind of controls, but they do have some classic kind of manual inputs as well. So you kind of got the choice to do both. So pretty much every character has the same way of doing moves, but it's just what the moves are, which is the difference. So not every character has like aerial attacks, for example, but every character does have a launcher. I want to say like the overall like combat system, how it works, it's very intuitive. Once you understand like how it runs in terms of like how to execute like specials, it's pretty much very similar to all the characters. There's just slight variance, that's all, to depending what moves that they've got. But I thought that was good because I have kind of like standardised it in a way. So you could pick up a character like Blade, for example, and then you could move on to say like Storm, and like the specials are like done in the same way. But obviously depends what it is. So I did find that the actual system of the moves being quite intuitive. But as I was saying, it's the first version of the game that I've been playing, so I don't know what it was like previously. I've heard it was very different to when it first came out. So the online experience, again, I think I did enjoy it, like considering it was quite slow and like laggy and stuff. When I did get a decent connection, say half decent, it was alright. So the footage in the background I've actually sped up to make it to match what it should have been playing like. But I want to tell you up front, this is what my experience was like. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Check this out.
Brace yourself. Round one. Fight.
Race. Not working. Dance with. Ice shot. No.
Even had some rage quits and lots of frustrations. But yes, but overall, I would say the game is gorgeous. It's definitely the way to go, and you can tell they've put in so much effort to the art style, and not only have they referenced the older like Marvel vs. Capcom games, like that era, it's like a sort of a love letter, I would say, but they've also paid homage to the actual Marvel style as well, and the new modern Marvel style. So it did mention before about the influence of some of the more modern Marvel games, including Marvel Rivals, and that is a free-to-play like hero shooter. I think that's excellent. And if you do like some of the characters that have been confirmed, why don't you have a look at their roster? And I do think that's going to be some of the players coming into the DLC for Marvel Tōkon. But overall, I do think the game is gorgeous. A lot of pressure though for them to fix everything by the 6th. That's my sort of main concern. I'm very positive that the Marvel Tōkon team can fix any of these issues. My main concern though is that it's quite a big ask for someone, especially the PC users, because you've got different versions of the game. You've got Standard Edition, you've got Deluxe Edition, and you've got the Ultimate Edition. But I think I'm going to have to wait and see what happens later on. But what was your experience? Did you get to enjoy the open beta? Are you going to be playing Marvel Tōkon Fighting Souls on the day of release? And if you are going to be playing it, who's your squad of 4? And as always, if you've made it this far, you're more than welcome to subscribe to the channel. Keeps me motivated to make more videos just like this one. But until next time folks, look after yourselves, stay hydrated, look after each other, and I'll see you again on the next video. Thank you so much.